Well, we're halfway through 2018. We've already seen a number of C-suite PR crises and controversies involving companies ranging from Intel and Nike to United and more recently Barnes & Noble. But despite all the attention, a new report out today shows Americans are actually feeling better about CEO leadership nationwide. For more, let's bring in Harris Poll CEO John Gerzema. John, thanks so much for joining us. I have to say, when I saw the results of this, I was surprised that Americans are feeling better about CEOs in light of those scandals that we mentioned and more. So why do we feel better?
Well, I think the scandals are few and far between. When you look at the aggregate basis of the American opinions on corporate America, they're actually sort of stepping into a void of leadership that kind of represents political gridlock in American government today. And so sort of in an interesting perspective on our view, the reason that CEOs are rising up is that many of these CEOs are actually taking more active social positions. They're trying to solve problems in society that aren't necessarily political. They're a little bit more focused on things that we all can agree upon.
So things that CNBC viewers care about: if the CEO has a good reputation by American standards, are their stock prices also going up as a result?
I don't know if I can really clarify that. This data is focused on Americans. This is what Main Street values really focus on when they think about CEOs, and so it's a different sort of approach to the way that we design this methodology.
It cuts both ways, though, in terms of being a CEO on the forefront of social issues. And what struck me in reading the top 5 is that these CEOs aren't necessarily outspoken about social issues per se. Their companies may tackle a problem in society, which are two very different things.
Absolutely different. So this is a focus on taking a sliver of a problem in society, again, that most of us can agree upon, that aren't necessarily political. You've got Microsoft highly performing in this study. They focused on delivering rural broadband to over 25 million Americans.
Do people know that, though? Do people taking the survey know that?
They have good, strong feelings of reputation. So when you think about Microsoft, there's still a lingering effect to Bill Gates. There's a focus there and a lot of interest in Satya Nadella as well.
You know what I noticed on this list is the number of companies that are private, not public. There were 6 of them out of the top 25. Chick-fil-A, Wegmans, a lot of them happen to be in the grocery area. Aldi, H-E-B, Publix, Patagonia, and others were associated with extremely charismatic and powerful founders, like Berkshire Hathaway, like Amazon, like Apple, like Microsoft.
So we were fascinated with that because for several reasons. Number one, with someone like Warren Buffett, who's sort of the Alexander Hamilton of reputation in our data. You know, people love him, but he's focused on American infrastructure. You're right to point out the fact that many of these companies and these CEOs were focused on sort of home and hearth. This was a year when we wanted to escape the headlines and wanted to seed back into our communities. So you see supermarkets in the mix there. You see lots of companies focused on home improvement, home entertainment. Really sort of bedrock American Main Street values.
When you're polling Americans, is it across all the demographics? Because we hear a lot about millennials really caring about social initiatives of companies and their leaders.
Yeah, so we cut across the demographics and we can pull these out apart to look at millennials, but this is all American data. What we thought really fascinated, again, was there are companies that actually have convictions, but they might be different in terms of their politics. You take Chick-fil-A and Patagonia. I wouldn't necessarily see both those companies at a corporate picnic together, but you know what Americans admire in them is that they walk their talk. They stand up for what they believe in.
How has this list changed over the years?
It's really changed fundamentally in one big way, which is it used to be large, big companies, sort of Fortune 100, Fortune 500, and now, as you point out, they've become smaller, more intimate companies. And sort of the slogan on that to us is sort of scale is fail, that size, especially with millennials and Gen Z, doesn't necessarily equate to trust. They actually want to see these CEOs be more intimate, shrink down the size of their company, and really relate to people on an individual basis.
Hey there, thanks for checking out CNBC on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all of the day's biggest stories. You can also click on any of the videos around me to watch the latest from CNBC. Thanks for watching.